Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good evening I wish to the respected judges, lecturers, and precise timekeeper, and to all audience who are with us today. I am pleased to welcome you all to the final round of Dean's Cup Championship, IIUM for the year 2022 in English category. First and foremost, before the argument begin, allow me to welcome and introduce the speakers that will be debating in this final round. On the government side, we have the members of MILEX A, represented by Hanafi as the Prime Minister, followed by Munira as the Deputy Prime Minister, and Hazim as the Defense Minister. Next, on the opposition side, we have the members of MEDC A. Firstly, we have Omar as the leader of the opposition team, Aisha as the deputy leader, and lastly, Zarfan as the opposition whip. Before we start, I would like everyone to adhere with the following rules and regulation. All participants must mute their microphones. Participants are only allowed to unmute their microphones when it is time for their speech or to deliver a POI. It is compulsory for all participants to leave their camera open and maintain a poised and polite posture throughout the program. Each debater is given a 7-minute time limit for their substantive speech and 4 minutes for their reply speech. During this last 4 minutes, no other interruptions will be permissible. The bell will be rung at the first minute as soon as the speaker starts their speech, and will be rung again at the 6th minute to signal the end of the time limit for participants to drop a POI. And lastly, at the 7th minute to signal the end of the speech time limit. For the reply speeches, the bell will be rung at the last minute as the ending signal. If any technical difficulty occurs during the debate, the speaker is granted 5 minutes to settle the problem. If it is not solved after the time limit, the debate session will continue to the next speaker under the judge's decision. The winner will be decided based on the team with the highest votes, and the panel's decision will be final. I hope everyone is well informed by the rules now. And without further ado, the final round presents MILEX A as the government and opposition MEDC A as the opposition with the motion. There exists a potion which can stop you from falling in love. This house, as an 18-year-old, will take the potion. Respected members of the council, we begin our debate today by welcoming the Prime Minister Hanafi. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Am I audible? I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. As an 18-year-old, I would want to live my teenager years happily, not worrying about how to raise a child. But before that, ladies and gentlemen, if there exists a potion which can stop you from falling in love, this house, as an 18 years old, would gladly take the potion, and we from the government side totally agrees in today's debate. Ladies and gentlemen, my task here is very simple. First, I would define the motion for everyone to understand what is happening in today's debate. I will set up the case for the government side, and I would present one argument from the government side. The definition of today's debate. We define from the government from 18 years old as a teenager, or you can say young adult that are going into the real world, starting to juggle a lot of responsibilities, and at this age, they are starting to try new things, because teenagers, especially at 18 years old, 19 years old, are curious to try new things, and teenagers are also easily manipulated, ladies and gentlemen. It is a fact that the hormone of teenagers during the 18 and 19 years old is at the peak, ladies and gentlemen. This 18-year-old Indian motion does not mean it does not mean it is a boy or a girl. It just means any gender, a boy, a girl, or anything in between, ladies and gentlemen. Falling in love means that love in this debate is romantic feelings for someone, not compassion. So what does that look like? So there's two different things, which is romantic and compassion, ladies and gentlemen. Both are different. Romantic love is lustful desires when you have crushes on people and you feel that you like them and you want to approach them. But compassion love is the affection that you have for one that is close to you. For example, your mother, your father, your siblings, and your relatives. That is compassion love, ladies and gentlemen. So next, we look at this position. This position is a position that would remove the lustful romantic part of love. So what does this mean is that the part of compassion, love for your parents, it will still be there, but the romantic lustful desires will be removed when you take the position, ladies and gentlemen. And another important characterization is that this position would lose its effects, or it will wear off when the user is ready and physically and mentally to settle down in a marriage, because after they are ready to settle down, they are mature enough, they would have to love their husbands or their wife, or they would have to continue on giving love to their children, ladies and gentlemen. And this position will not have any side effects whatsoever. Ladies and gentlemen, moving on to the setting up of the debate from the government side. We look at the status quo. Teenagers and young adults today are eager to try new things and does not think before doing actions that may cause harm to them. They like to try new things, and love would make people do stupid and irrational things because, as I stated before, teenagers are easily manipulated, and if they so-called love a person, they would be easily manipulated by the person who they love. So, ladies and gentlemen, and another status quo is that the population in this world today is at a point where human is enough in this world. We have enough population in this world, ladies and gentlemen. The aim of the government side is that we would like to protect ourselves, this house as an 18 years old, we would like to protect ourselves, the vulnerable, we as a 18-year-old, which is easily manipulated, we would like to focus on the important stuff. During the age of 18 years old until you mature, ladies and gentlemen. We believe that there are more important stuff for us to be focusing on as an 18 years old. For example, education, growing economically and mentally and stabilizing in mental, ladies and gentlemen. We from the government side tell you that we as an 18 years old are not ready to simply fall in love and make bad decision, and we cannot afford that, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Because love would hurt us and everyone around us. And second, love would be a distraction. So moving on to my argument, which is love would hurt us and everyone around us. Ladies and gentlemen, why is this true? Love would make us do stupid and irrational things, as I've stated before. Based on statistics, 18 and 19 years old are reported to have the most teen pregnancies, ladies and gentlemen. So this is what we are trying to avoid. We are trying to avoid these stupid, irrational decisions that will cause teenagers, 18 and 19 years old teenagers, to get pregnant, and later this would lead to many, many more bad problems. For example, baby dumping, children would be born out of wedlock, children would not have a stable income, ladies and gentlemen. These are the dangers that poses around the corner if an 18-year-old are allowed to fall in love as they like, ladies and gentlemen. And plus, when they have children, they can't focus on education, they would have to raise a child, and this would also lead to many mental health issues. Ladies and gentlemen, why would I say, another point about why would I say that love would hurt us and everyone around us is that what if you fell in love and you like a person, but then a heartbreak happens? We all know this narrative where it will go. When a student, for example, a teenager is a student studying, acing his exam, but suddenly he or she got heartbroken by their so-called love partners. And this would disrupt your life completely. You cannot focus on your education. You would regret your decision, and this regret would lead to many complications, for example, trying drugs and have depression. And love depression is a real thing, ladies and gentlemen. You have to know that by not having love depression could not happen at all. And we can focus on the important parts of being a teenager, ladies and gentlemen. For the past few minutes, I'll be talking to you about why we as an 18-year-old care about ourselves, care that we should be a productive teenager living a happy life, meaning that we should take the position so that we will not fall into a trap of love that will guide us far away from the right path, ladies and gentlemen. With that, we from the government side are happy to propose. Thank you very much.
Thank you from the government side. Next, I call upon Umar as the leader of the opposition to state the opposition's objections. The floor is yours.
I'll start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, love is a powerful concoction of emotions that allows humans to be capable of acting in a manner that they do. More often than not, love is viewed as essential within a large majority of the society in which we live in today. And we believe that the consumption of such a potion would actively harm the overall emotional capacity of a person, ladies and gentlemen. Before I get into my main rebuttals and my main argument, I would first like to state the opposition stance in which we disagree completely with the definition that has been set out by the government here today. They are here trying to twist the motion in order to suit their narrative, believing that this potion might have some sort of antidote or a possible way in which it can be removed conveniently so that the love may return back into the lives of these people once they find a suitable spouse or partner, ladies and gentlemen. We also disagree on the definition of love. Their definition of love is that it is something which is lustful, ladies and gentlemen. They wish to remove the lustful parts of love. But the government side seems to forget that love is so much more than just lust in itself, ladies and gentlemen. We define, as the opposition side, we define that love is a positive emotional bond between two individuals in which deepens over a period of time, ladies and gentlemen. And finally, like I said, we dispute that the effects of this potion can wear off by the government stating that, oh, once this person has managed to fall in love with a certain person, we can simply erase the effects of said potion, allowing them to love their spouse completely. But as we understand, the motion in itself, instead, this potion will remove love in general, not the lustful parts of love. And certainly the motion does not state whether or not this potion can run out. So twisting it in their favor seems to be something we like to call them out for. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the opposition stance on this motion here today is that we are here to validate the basic human emotions, which are part of the fundamental building blocks within the human psyche, ladies and gentlemen. As we understand, we humans are social along with emotional creatures in which our emotions define us, in which love can prove a great factor in our character development as a person, ladies and gentlemen. Now, before I get into the main argument that I would like to state here today, I would like to first make a few rebuttals.
POI.
Yes, go ahead.
Can you tell me exactly, is a definitive answer that love can also cause harm?
Ladies and gentlemen, I am not disputing the fact that love may or may not cause harm. I am only disputing the fact that the government themselves are trying to squirrel the motion in such a manner in which favors them, casting love in such a bad light by their definition of love in itself as something which is lustful, as something in which is greedy, in which you want the other person without any deeper ties or connections that usually come with love, ladies and gentlemen. That is what I am disputing. Now, government talks about such a small minority when it comes to life. Of course, yes, we understand that there may be some divisive elements within our society, especially those within 18 and 19 years old, but which is more likely, ladies and gentlemen? An 18-year-old to go screw around with a woman from God knows where, or an 18-year-old who would rather go to college and get done with their lives, ladies and gentlemen. The government tends to focus right now on such a small minority of the population, casting them in a bad light and casting them in such a manner in which it does not seem to be of equal ground. ladies and gentlemen. They're trying to skew this argument in order to validate their own spin on the events, ladies and gentlemen. I will now move on towards my first argument. If you have a POI, I would not be accepting them as for now. Love provides plenty of positive benefits to the society as a whole, ladies and gentlemen. We as humans, we are all members of society. If I was an 18-year-old, I myself would understand that despite being an 18-year-old, despite having the right to my own life and how I wish to dictate my life, I still have an obligation towards the society around us. And ladies and gentlemen, the family unit is the basic building block of any society. This is inherent since the nomadic days, the nomadic ancestry of us humans, in which the humans themselves moved around in the familial packs, ladies and gentlemen. The family is what we are. And as I've mentioned earlier, that our definition of love is a deepening positive bond between two or more individuals. Even if you might not feel the effects as an 18-year-old who would take the potion, ladies and gentlemen, if you were an elder sibling with younger siblings who have yet to take this potion because they are not 18 years old, they will not feel the warm brotherly love or warm sisterly love that can often emanate from an elder sibling. Ladies and gentlemen, where do you think does this leave their siblings, ladies and gentlemen, their children? Their siblings, ladies and gentlemen, their brothers or their sisters. They may grow up with the wrong character development, thinking that nobody loves them, thinking that their family, their own family hates them because because of their own siblings being incapable of loving them, ladies and gentlemen, due to such a divisive item known as this potion. Now, another thing I would like to get at is when it comes towards marriages, ladies and gentlemen. People usually marry under the influence of love, and this love allows them to be capable of compromise, ladies and gentlemen. When two parties disagree, two spouses who love each other, who wants to make it work, they may try and compromise with one another. Now, of course, the government may state, we are here debating about the effects on an 18-year-old. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm trying to prove what will happen in 5, 6, 7, 8 years down the line. We are not going to fit the narrative in which the government's wanting to say that this potion can somehow magically wear off the moment they meet their spouse. Now, by taking such a potion, there is a high possibility that these people won't get married at all, as they view this commitment as a financial burden, and they view children as nothing more as a financial burden to themselves, because love removes this concoction of emotion that allows them to care for another human being at a deeper level rather than that of an acquaintance, ladies and gentlemen. That is all, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes towards my speech here today. I will now pass on towards the Deputy Prime Minister to make their case.
Thank you from the opposition leader. And now, without further delay, we shall invite Sister Munira as the Deputy Minister. The floor is yours.
Okay. I'm going to start my speech in 3, 2, 1. A condor is the most efficient animal on earth. What's the most inefficient animal? Human beings. But with a bicycle, humans instantly become the most efficient animal on earth. This is with the help of intellect people, the logic and the curiosity to learn and renew ourselves, not love. Therefore, as government, we strongly believe that as an 18-year-old, we would take the potion that would stop us from falling in love. Before I move on to my 2 claims, I first like to rebut the leader of opposition. First of all, the leader of opposition tries to say that there will be no antidote for this potion. We have proposed that there will be an antidote for this potion because we also acknowledge the advantages of love. If we were to permanently stop love at all, that would be immoral and cruel. We will become machines, simply machines. But we want to stay humans, but we also want to stay as the most efficient humans. Now, if there is an antidote for love, if there is a potion that removes love, surely there's also an antidote. That is simply the logic of the world that we are debating within. Next, the leader of opposition says that the potion that we are trying to skew the debate to only focus on the lustful aspects of love. Here, I'd like to remind everyone that when my prime minister said that in the moment where the person is able to detect that maturity and their readiness to build a family, he also mentions that the people it is important for the antidote so that they can love their husbands, their wives, and their children. If we, the government, had skewed the debate to only focus on the lustful aspect of love, why would the prime minister say that we also need the love for children? Ladies and gentlemen, this shows how the leader of opposition did not see our point or did not hear clearly what the prime minister had said. Now, the next, moving on to his actual points, he said that love validate the fundamental emotions and it is a factor of our character development. It also says that love provides benefit to society, and in marriage, under the influence of love, allows compromise. Now, first of all, the first point, the fundamental emotions and the love where provides benefits to society. What are the emotions that actually benefits us as humans? Now, we have compassion, empathy, apathy, sympathy. All these things are on its own an independent form of emotion. Together combined, they can create love. Together, love is a combination of many different emotions. Love is not love. You cannot characterize love as being all these emotions, and the moment we take away love, that we take away all these emotions as well. No, we are saying that compassion, sympathy, apathy, all these things can still stand on their own, because we acknowledge the importance of love in building family. Now, moving on to the marriage under the influence of love, allow compromise. Now, I know that the leader of opposition has mentioned that this is not, we're talking about 5 to 6, 7 years down the line. However, as a teenager, this is not our concern, which is why we understand as government that it comes to a point where we must have an antidote for the potion. Therefore, we will allow compromise in marriages and to help benefit a marriage when they need it. However, 5 to 6, 7 years down the line, if you were to take in all the cons of love, 5 to 6 to 7 years down the line could potentially and greatly destroy a person's life only because of love. Before I move on to my points, a POI from the whip of opposition.
So please define what the love means for you.
Love, as I said before, is a combination of compassion, sympathy, apathy. It's a romantic entanglement at the same time. You can feel love for your parents, you can feel love for your children. However, you do not need to feel love for strangers in order to show them compassion, do you? You don't need empathy in order to feel sympathy for those who are being hurt. You do not need to love a homeless man to feel sympathy, now do you? So that is why we say that love is a combination, not all of it at once. Now, my first claim is that we would take this potion to make humans more independent. Why is this true? Romantic love makes a human more dependent on their partners. This person either make you or break you, and we've seen so many instances of this, especially among young adults. An analogy of this would be, it's as if we are giving them a remote control that decides our life, because we put so much dependency on this other person that most of the times it destroys us. And we can see this because you don't meet the love of your life the first time. No one, there are instances, but majority, that doesn't happen. And a lot of the times people go through breakups, and a lot of times there are instances of abusive relationship within love because of love. Therefore, in the dependency on love is clearly bad. It destroys a person's emotional and mental state. It's like, as I said before, giving a remote control to your life, or giving a remote control to your partner to kill you. You put such a standard on what they want for you that you start to what they think, that you start to depend so much on them. Why is it important that humans become independent? When humans are independent, they become stronger. There's no need to rely on romance to live on. As my prime minister has mentioned, love depression exists. So if humans are stronger, love depression will not exist. Therefore, in order for you to live on, you can live on without having, despite not having a romantic love. It makes you self-reliant, no need to look for validation of love from a partner, and it makes you more intelligent because decisions cannot be clouded by love. Now, moving on to my second claim, it is to make humans more efficient. Why is this true? You don't depend on the validation of a partner in order for you to make a decision, and you definitely do not sacrifice or prioritize your partner over your work or studies. And in fact, there will be no teen pregnancies or love depression. Why is it so good when this doesn't happen? First of all, you are more focused, you are better, and you're never distracted by the lack or the presence of love. Why is it important in our society? Because it helps to improve society. It helps to direct society's focus on the development of a country, and there will be no selfishness to do something for the act of love, but for the act of the society as a whole. Therefore, government proudly proposed that as an 18-year-old, we would take the potion to remove the feeling of love. Thank you.
That was from the opposition leader, from the deputy minister. And now let us continue by inviting the deputy leader, Sister Aisha. The floor is yours.
So I'll start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, love, like being said by the government side, is a compassion. Love is not a lust. Love is not just wanting something from someone, but rather giving selflessness towards the loved person. Also, love does not happen just on the first sight. Love happens on the long run. So today, I, as the deputy leader of opposition, would oppose the motion this house, and as an 18-year-old would take the potion that will stop you from falling in love. So today, as the deputy leader of opposition, my job is simple. First of all, I would rebut all the arguments made by the government side, and also I would strengthen the point made by my leader of opposition, and next I will come out with my arguments myself. So first of all, I would rebut the arguments made by the second speaker, which they are saying that love does not mean compassion. Love does not mean empathy, does not mean sympathy or selflessness. First of all, the second speaker said that love and empathy or sympathy or whatever it is are a different thing. But later on her speech, she really said that love includes empathy and sympathy and also selflessness to the loved person rejected. So also the government said that by avoiding love, these young adults can actually be independent and avoid an abusive relationship. But ladies and gentlemen, if we remove love completely from this person, don't you think that abusive relationships are more likely to happen because the partner actually doesn't love them each other at all? They actually just are fulfilling their lust. Yes, POI.
How would people get into abusive relationship in the first place if they don't feel the need to be in a relationship romantically without love?
Like I said just now, they are lusting towards the person. They are not loving that person. That's why this happened. That's why the cases like rape and abusive relationship and the biological father lets their partner getting pregnant and not caring about them. That's what happened when the partner doesn't love their partner. Okay, so now moving on to the next rebuttal, they also say that when the person loves someone else, they will not prioritize their studies and their responsibilities. But ladies and gentlemen, if we love someone, we could actually motivate ourselves to work more, to struggle more for the benefits of us and also for the benefits of the loved one rejected. So now moving on to my arguments. First of all, I would say on how love works. Like I said in my rebuttals just now, love will motivate us 18 years old to study more, to actually fulfilling our responsibilities, to actually improving ourselves in order to become a person worthy of loving. So like my leader of opposition said in his disagreement on the government's opposition, love is not just about romantic relationship. Love is a wide scope that includes relationship between families, siblings, and also friendship. So now, if we love someone, even if it means in a romantic way, we can actually improve ourselves to be more dependent, to study more, to actually improve ourselves because we want to be, like I said just now, worthy of being loved. And also by giving love to the 18 years old, we can actually teach them to be selfless and to have empathy and to nurture belief in their partner or in their parents or siblings. But if we don't have belief, if we don't have selflessness or empathy towards everyone else, we would actually be building a very toxic relationship with each other. Rejected. So now, I will continue with my second argument, which is that being stated by the prime minister themselves, that by giving antidote to these people who are 18 years old, we can actually make them settle down for marriage and choose their partner wisely. But ladies and gentlemen, like I said in my intro, love doesn't happen in the first sight. Love doesn't happen just by looking at that person and you just suddenly fall in love. That's lust. Like I said just now, that's lust. So by actually falling in love at 18 years old, we can outweigh what is important in love and what is not important in love, what is good in a relationship and what is not good in a relationship. We can learn from our past mistakes ourselves, that how to choose relationship and whatnot.
Right.
And also, yes, POI.
You said that we can learn from our past mistake, but what if our past mistake was a born child without a father?
That's what I said just now. A born child without a father, meaning that the biological father does not love their partner to support her, to carry on the responsibility of a biological father to actually support the children being born out of wedlocks or anything. And also, I will continue with my argument that there is too much to cherish for love. And if let's say that you want to give an antidote for this potion that would make people not fall in love, let's say you would give them an antidote at 25 years old. So how do you expect them to suddenly fall in love at 25 years old? Are we going to arrange a marriage for them? And also by doing this, they will not have any sort of feelings towards their partner and will then increase the divorce rate. And what will happen to these children? Ladies and gentlemen, also, I would like to remind again that I, as the deputy leader of opposition, oppose this motion. This house, and as an 18-year-old, would take the potion simply because we would want to validate basic human emotions, which are the fundamental of human psyche. With that stated, I rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you. That was the deputy leader from the opposition side. Next, we will continue from the defense minister from the government side. Let us invite Brother Hazim. The floor is yours.
Am I audible? Everybody hear me? Ladies and gentlemen, this debate has been a very messy one, and I also want to point out a very interesting fact. I'm going to reinstate the motion today and make sure that everybody hears very clearly. This house, as an 18-year-old, would take the potion being something that will stop the feeling of love. Now, ladies and gentlemen, and honored adjudicators, I would like to take a step back and tell all of you that do not fall for what the opposition team is trying to skew the debate into what they think love includes, including everything, and just trying to mingle and everything and push everything into one notion that, oh, love is a very, very important emotion. We as a government team have already acknowledged that yes, it is important, but we are trying to say that love has many different factors. I cannot believe I'm going to teach medical students biology. Did you know that oxytocin triggers different feelings of compassion? Dopamine is another one. I cannot believe I'm trying to teach you this, that there is different stages to love. We as the government team already instated that yes, the potion will negate or stop the feelings of lust, which the opposition team has already acknowledged that those are bad. So, honored adjudicators, I implore you, look at these flaws. We as the government team already set a mechanism. We are not going to give an antidote. The Prime Minister of the government team has already suggested that the fact that the potion will wear off at the moment that it recognizes that the user has already matured emotionally enough to figure out what is good and what is bad for them. Yes, POI.
I'm saying antidote as per what your Deputy Prime Minister stated by herself.
Okay, my second speaker did not mention any antidote that you have to re-ingest, or there's no other potion, okay? The only reason she talked about that antidote was the fact that your first speaker talked about, oh, the government team is going to make a surprising antidote. First of all, let's clarify one thing clearly. We already stated in the motion and the mechanism how the potion works. We're not going to reinstate it anymore. I am very confident that everybody knows about it. Second of all, it's a potion that removes love. So I do not know why we are so into in this. Now, moving on to interesting clashes and interesting points of information within this debate. When the first opposition speaker stood up and talked about this potion will actively harm emotional capacity of the youth, they're trying to validate human emotions. Ladies and gentlemen and honored adjudicators, look at the fact that the opposition team is calling us out on trying to squirrel the debate, whereas they are trying to make sure that the love we are trying to define includes everything, thus including compassion and all the good things about it. What we are trying to tell everyone here is the fact that 18 years of age, and nobody can dispute this, 18 years of age and around that age group are difficult and very, very volatile age groups. Nobody can dispute this fact because the hormones, as stated by my Prime Minister, are at the highest and at its peak. So we as the government team are proposing that this potion will solve many issues. Medical students, you are medical students, you're supposed to know that there is a plethora of many different hormones that trigger, there is diseases that happen, one of them being broken heart disease. So now, when we look at this fact, look at this as a general fact, we as the government team are trying to prevent this very volatile stage in the youth development from creating issues. The second speaker of the opposition team already went POI by my Prime Minister when we talked about what happens if the mistake that we're supposed to learn from this love is too great. What happens if there's a child out of marriage? They talked about, it's because they didn't love the person. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the exact reason we are trying to negate these lustful feelings in the first place. The opposition team did not deny that these lustful feelings are bad. Rather, they just tried to deny and squirrel the motion to include everything. We are trying to show you that love has different categories, number one, and that we are trying to fight the categories that are self-destructive on the youth, the parents, the country, and the image of these youth as a whole. So by taking this potion, it inevitably benefits many, many factors. Now, when the opposition team, second speaker also talked about, using love, this compassionate love to struggle harder in response to what my second speaker talked about. It doesn't make sense, honored adjudicators, ladies and gentlemen, because of the fact that they brought up the fact of selflessness. That is literally contradicting to what you're about. How do you struggle for others, but also be selfless towards others? That is totally contradictory. What the opposition, I assume, is trying to say is the fact that when we try to struggle for another person, we are going to be selfless to that person. When in fact, it is a proper debate, and the principle of this debate, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that this love, this definition of love that we have defined, which I again remind you is the lustful romantic feelings that are detrimental to the upbringing and the mental health of these youth, when these feelings are taken away, the youth will be in a much, much, much better position in a general sense and entirely without dispute compared to when these feelings are there, because mistakes can happen. And like my Prime Minister, right, my Prime Minister has said, these mistakes can be very, very grave and irreversible. So rather than taking the chance, because the opposition team has not denied that things can go wrong in love, there is no dispute that heartbreaks can happen. You do not know your partner's feelings. You do not know the exact thinking at that moment, unless you're telekinetic, which I don't accept in this debate. So when there is this possibility that bad things can happen, we as the government team strongly believe that in the interest of the youth, of their image, of the country and the society as a whole, as a majority, we are not taking away their rights of their emotions. We are saying, as the motion has stated, we would take it. We are in the shoes of this 18-year-old. We choose to take it. Why? Because it hurts us if we do not take it. On many accounts, as we have proven to you, it is efficient to take it because we will improve ourselves and it will make us more independent in our lives. This is what we want for the youth. This is what we believe as a youth we should do, because we as the youth have the responsibility of the country on our shoulders, and we should not try and be a self-destructive factor in our lives. This is why we as the government team strongly propose this motion and implore all the judges to agree with us. Thank you.
Thank you. That was the Defense Minister from the government side. Now we will proceed calling upon Brother Zarfan as the opposition whip from the opposition side. Please welcome.
I will start my speech. First of all, am I audible? Yes. So I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, the government side today in this debate is going to a past trauma, it's going to past heartbreak, past depressions of love, and so on. That's why they make an emotional approach inside of today's debate to tell us that we as an 18 years old do not deserve love, and we should bring a portion to help us to not fall in love. Ladies and gentlemen, this is so absurd and this is not true at all. Ladies and gentlemen, me standing as the opposition whip in today's debate, I will first clarify the clashes that happened between both of our sides. The second one, I will rebut the arguments stated by the Deputy Prime Minister and also the Prime Minister. And last but not least, what I'm gonna do is I'll tell you why opposition wins today's debate at the first place. Ladies and gentlemen, let me clarify the clashes that happen in today's debate, what the government is fighting for in today's debate and what the opposition is fighting for in today's debate. So the government is fighting for in today's debate, they believe that the love is a lustful feeling, a compassion is not a compassion, but it's actually contradict between each other, where the Prime Minister said that love in this debate is love about the lust and so on. But the Deputy Prime Minister in this debate say that the love is actually an empathy, apathy, and the love is a sense of care and acceptance towards each other, which is very contradict towards each other. They should have the communication better in their side. So, ladies and gentlemen, the next thing that we are trying to push is sides of today's debate towards the government side, as we're trying to push the burden of proof that they haven't yet contested in any of the speakers, which is we are trying to prove how does by giving them the portion inside of today's debate will not harm this 18 years old and will not harm the human societal developments as a whole in the first place. Ladies and gentlemen, the next one, the most interesting part in today's debate, that the government will try to educate us as the biological students as a whole. I'll tell you why this government will should just stay in their field and not to interrupt our field in today's debate. Because what incorporated inside of today's debate is actually being catered in their argument, which is they say love depression. Actually, love is a cure for depression. What have been said by the hormones that have been said by the government, which is the hormone of oxytocin, the hormone of dopamine. This is actually the happy hormone that exists from the stem of love, ladies and gentlemen. So the government just stay at your place and yes, POI.
Can love cause depression? Yes or no? Can love cause depression?
Ladies and gentlemen, that's why I say, just stay at your field. Ladies and gentlemen, depression happen because of the unstable hormonal changes that happen in our brain, ladies and gentlemen. This is a neurological problem, ladies and gentlemen. By having love, this will stabilize the hormone and give the happy hormone result of today's debate. I hope it clarifies today's debate because I have got a lot of work to do. Ladies and gentlemen, the Prime Minister of today's debate said that the points of the Prime Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister also said about the same thing, which is already the love can hurt. The love can be a burden to someone. Love can cause to illegal child and also child dumping. And also they also said about love can cause depression, which is I already rebutted in previous example. And the next one, So I want to debate about the argument stated by the Prime Minister, which is the love can make someone do stupid and rational thing because they are only 18 years old. They can't really think that way. That is not matured yet. Ladies and gentlemen, 18 years old is the age where we vote for the future leaders. But what the cowards in this debate, which is the government side, they don't want us to even fall in love. Even fall in love is afraid but want to vote for the country. What is that, ladies and gentlemen? So the next one is the Deputy Prime Minister. They also said about the love would hurt people around us without saying the great example how this happen, how this policy will outweigh our policy where we are trying to do in today's debate. We tell you that love will give a spreadness to everyone, spread a positive vibe to everyone, like been said by my Deputy Leader of Opposition. They also, my Deputy Leader of Opposition say also that love can motivate us, and also that the government side failed to understand the meaning of love miserably. Love is something that we care about others. Baby dumping cost because there's no love happen inside of today's debate. Like also the love that hurts is not a love. Love that hurts is not a love, ladies and gentlemen, because love is supposed to be about empathy, and so on, that has been stated by Deputy Prime Minister, which is supporting our side in today's debate. Ladies and gentlemen, the next thing that we're trying to do in today's debate is the way the assumption made by the Prime Minister, which is they said we already have enough population in this world. Ladies and gentlemen, this is absolutely not true, which is because the governments need to achieve the government in Malaysia need to achieve 70 million in order to cap with the illegal immigrants and so on, to actually adapt with the current situations in Malaysia, to adapt with the work needs in Malaysia. Ladies and gentlemen, no, I already accepted. So, ladies and gentlemen, what are the opposition side are trying to do in today's debate? We're trying to say that everyone deserves the love with the stand to validate basic human emotion, which are the fundamental right of every human. Every human deserves to love. Every human deserves to have empathy, and so on. And love is not just about lust, that have been said by the government side inside of today's debate. And we tell you that by our leader of opposition, we tell you that love can affect towards others, love can bring a better, harmonious, and also can create a better societal development in towards the 18 years old, and also prepare them from for the marriage that will happen in the long run. And also my Deputy Leader of Opposition also said that how love can motivate others, how love can give you the sense of empathy, and how love is contradict with how love in our world is contradict towards the love in their world, which is absolutely assumption which only love is all about lust and lust. Ladies and gentlemen, in order to have a more societal developments on our 18 years old, we should not take this portion. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm more than proud to oppose into this debate.
Thank you. That was from the opposition side. And now that the substantive speech has already ended, this debate will be resumed with the reply speeches from the opposition to sum up their case. I call upon the opposition side to deliver their speech. Please welcome.
I will begin my speech in 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, there have been a great amount of arguments presented by both the opposition and the government side regarding the motion that has been set out here today. And I believe that the facts of the case speak for themselves within this scenario, ladies and gentlemen, showing the flaws which are inherent within the government's arguments. Now, before I get to deconstructing the government's arguments within my reply speech, I would first like to reiterate the stance in which the opposition themselves have taken throughout the entirety of this debate and have managed to not divert whatsoever from this stance, is that we wish to validate the basic human emotions, which are the fundamental building blocks within the human psyche, ladies and gentlemen. Now, moving on towards my reply speech, I first have a few criticisms I would like to point out towards the government side. The government attempts to skew the debate in their favor, making a narrative convenient, such as the potion being reversible, ladies and gentlemen? Are they afraid of being so hardline? Why are they providing such a convenient backdoor should their main argument backfire in their faces, ladies and gentlemen? Are they trying to escape? Are they not confident within their own argument as to ensure that they have a backdoor which provides them safety and security from any criticisms should the opposition bring up, oh, they're saying this, that? Oh no, the potion is reversible. We can allow love to strive within our society, ladies and gentlemen. That is not how this works. The opposition, the government side also tends to agree with the opposition's definition of love as a concoction of emotions. This is clearly proven by the Deputy Prime Minister of the government side. And yet it contradicts with what the Prime Minister of the government himself is saying, stating that love is something more towards the lustful area rather than the concoction of emotions presented by not only the opposition side, but by also the Deputy Prime Minister of the government side, ladies and gentlemen. Does this not show some sort of instability within their argument, ladies and gentlemen? Does this not show a contradiction within their argument, ladies and gentlemen, removing the credibility of their cause? The government also seems to try and cleverly mask the fact that the arguments presented by both the Prime Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister is essentially the same, is nigh identical. Like I said, does this not show how unconfident they are with their argument, needing to rely and bank on a single argument to carry on themselves towards the winning side, ladies and gentlemen? Furthermore, the third speaker, as I mentioned, wants to reinstate the motion, ladies and gentlemen. And yet, as I've mentioned, he has provided a convenient backdoor, which has been provided since the Prime Minister. If you wish to reinstate the motion, instate it to the letter as according towards what the motion itself wants in spirit, rather than giving such a convenient backdoor away from criticism, ladies and gentlemen. The potion is to remove, to stop you from falling in love, remove the feelings of love. If you are to reinstate love by saying, oh, there's some chemical imbalance later on, should you become mature, that overrides the potion, ladies and gentlemen, I do not agree that such a thing could happen, ladies and gentlemen. The government also seems to take such an emotional argument to debating on very sensitive issues that very rarely happens within our society, rather than relying on the evidence presented by millennia of human history that love is a powerful factor within human emotions and human character development, ladies and gentlemen. And the fact that the opposition side on societal impact has so far gone uncontested by the government side should lend further credibility towards the cause that we, the opposition, are trying to prove here, ladies and gentlemen, in this debate. Thank you very much for your time. I will now pass on towards the government to make their reply speech. Thank you.
Thank you from the opposition leader from the opposition side for the speech just now. And now from the government, who has the final say in today's debate, I call upon the government to deliver their speech. Please welcome.
Thank you very much. I will start my reply speech in 3, 2, 1. Good evening to all. My task here in the reply speech arena is very simple. I would first give some final remarks on throughout the whole debate on why the government should win today's debate and why the opposition is clearly confused and should lose today's debate. And next, I will present the clashes. With the opposition did not actually present clashes, I will present which world is actually a better world to solve this issue at hand. Ladies and gentlemen, moving to the final remarks, the first speaker talked about, even in his reply speech, talk about the minority, that these bad things, child pregnancy rarely happens. But ladies and gentlemen, they agree that it happens, and we, as the House, as this is an actor motion, we as an 18-year-old would not want that to happen to us. We would like to avoid that bad thing happen to us. That's why we are taking the motion in the first place, ladies and gentlemen. The first speaker and second speaker raised up and talk about siblings love, family love. Ladies and gentlemen, we already told you that the motion will not affect these siblings and family love. Thus, they were not focusing in this debate, ladies and gentlemen. The second speaker got up and said that love motivates us to study more, when I already stated in my first speech that love can cause heartbreak, can cause people to actually ditch their studies and do bad things. So please listen to the debate more carefully, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, the third speaker talk about the depression of love, where love solves this depression, ladies and gentlemen. We're not trying to be medical students here, but as law students, we know that the cases of child pregnancies and the cases of women with child are fighting for trying to find their fathers, going in and out of court, trying to find who is the father of the children. There are very many women out there without a father or a source of income to help support their child, ladies and gentlemen. Last but not least, in the reply speech, the opposition come to attack us on why we are having a backdoor on that this portion is an irreversible portion, ladies and gentlemen. We are saying that because we know that love is important, but love is not important for 18 years old. This motion is for an 18 years old. We, as an 18 years old, love is not important yet, but love is important. That is the whole reason we have the irreversible portion in the first place, ladies and gentlemen. That is all for my final remarks, moving to the clashes on which world is a better world. The first clash in today's debate is actually the well-being of us, as this is an active motion, the well-being of an 18-year-old. Ladies and gentlemen, the government is trying to save us, me, myself, from suffering as a teenager, which already have more burdens than I can carry. I have to look at education. I have to look at my my mental stability, ladies and gentlemen. I am not going to put this house as an 18 years old through this problem as a teenager, ladies and gentlemen. But the op is saying that if you want to get married early, go. If you want to have a child at 19 years old, go. You can do what you want. And we are trying to solve this from happening to ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, the next clash is love. We, from the government side, sees love that has a dark side, ladies and gentlemen, whether the opposition sees love as all sunshine and rainbows, that nothing bad can happen when you love somebody, ladies and gentlemen. But this is wrong. We can see that it is start by loving, but we can see that in divorce cases, they start by loving their partner, and then after love, they were abused. So, ladies and gentlemen, love has a dark side, and we would like to protect us as a 18 years old from the dark side, ladies and gentlemen. And I would end on this note. An 18 years old in brain psychology development says that it takes to 21 to 25 years old of age for the brain to maturely develop. With that, I would say that because of all reasons, the government should win today's debate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, the Prime Minister from the government side. As the government delivered the conclusion just now, it marks the end of our debate session for this final round in English category of Dean's Cup 2022 Championship. This house will defer for the judges to finalize the results. Participants are asked to remain while waiting for the verbal education by the judges. Thank you. All right. Thank you, everyone, to all the participants. The announcement will be announced in tonight's closing ceremony, so be sure all of you to be there. And may the best team wins. Thank you, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And you may leave this room right now. And see you all in this tonight closing ceremony of Dean's Cup 2022 Championship in English category. Thank you.
Thank you, judges. Thank you, the opposition team.
Thank you.
Thank you to the honorable spectators of our match, and we'll see the results for tonight.
Exactly what Omar said. Thank you, everyone.
May the
Thank you,
best team
guys.
win.
May
the best team win.
team win.
Yeah, thank you, everybody, especially those on YouTube for all the continued support. Thank you, adjudicators, for an amazing education, and timekeeper for keeping the time perfectly, moderators as well. Opposition team, great round of debates, legendary as usual.
Beautiful. Yep.
We shall see who wins. May the best team win tonight, and we will catch you all later.
All right,
More
lads. Have
rematches
fun.
soon. Goodbye.
Okay, goodbye.